Hey everyone, Mike here with Rusty Garage and Homestead. A little while back, my buddy Joe from the Okie Woodsman was here and we were cutting down a tree. Now we left that stump a little high so I could be able to push on that stump with the bulldozer and help get that stump out of there. But I think today I'm gonna get Tiny and the BH150 Backhoe and we're gonna go down there to that stump, dig around it and just see if we can get it out with that little backhoe. So hang in there, that's what we got going on. Before we do any work on this, we need to go ahead, get this thing lined out, stretched out, get everything greased on it real good, get the loader greased up real good. This thing now has 8.9 hours on it. So now's a good time to go ahead and get everything greased up real good. All right, the machine is greased. There's a lot of grease points on this BH150 Backhoe. I'll go over it in another video at some point and show you exactly where each of them are. But that's something I think most people could probably do a better job on, is making sure their machines are greased at least every 8 hours. That grease is going to do nothing but help prolong the life of the equipment. It is a maintenance item, but dry pins and bushings will wear out quickly if you don't keep up with them. Okay, well, we've got 2 holes dug, one on each side. I'm gonna move the tractor around to the other side, push this dirt right here out of the way, and then I'll start digging the other 2 sides of this stump. Try to get it as deep as this, and we'll see if we can't pull that thing out of there. Now this backhoe isn't doing the best job ripping through some of these roots. I mean, it is a small backhoe. It's doing better than I thought it would. I've got a lot of stumps to pick up around here, and I think if I had some sort of ripper on this instead of the bucket, I think that would really, really help getting through a lot of these roots. This is a pretty strong loader. starting to get a little loose. Okay, well, we've got a pretty good sized hole around this. This thing ain't beat us yet. It's starting to get loose, so that was all we needed. I'm gonna finish pushing this dirt over here out of the way so I can reposition the backhoe and try to get a little deeper around some of these other spots. And hopefully we can get it out with the backhoe. If we can't, I got another idea. I spent way too much time on this stump today, forced not to get it out, so it's coming out today. Finally, got this thing out. Got it knocked over anyways. Getting it out won't be bad. If I have to, I'll wrap a chain around it and use the dozer to drag it up out of here, or I'll go get the big tractor. Either one will do it. I don't know if this thing's gonna have enough oomph to get it out. That's okay. It's not necessarily what these little backhoes are designed to do. But there's no reason. Take a little time, work on it, dig around. I probably got an hour and a half anyways into digging so far, and that's counting stopping, moving the camera around, moving the tractor, pushing dirt, taking a little break. But there's no reason this thing shouldn't be able to dig one of these out. It's just going to take a little longer than it would if you had a dozer or something like that. I'm just knocking off some of the dirt, whatever I can, off this root ball. That's going to lighten it up quite a bit. I think though, if you were advertising a small business on removing stumps and this is all you had, you'd probably end up going broke unless you charged a bunch of money. But it's working just fine for what I need to do. Okay, well, I don't think the backhoe is going to be able to pull this thing out, so I'm curious to see if the front end loader will or not. So I went and got the log tongs, and I'm going to turn this thing around, and we're going to try to pick up straight up on it and drag it up out of the hole. This root ball, I don't know how big it looks on camera from here, but it's pretty good size for a 25 horse tractor. So still, this isn't necessarily the right tool for the job, but I am impressed with what I'm able to do with it. So let's see if we can get this thing picked up out of here with the loader. Okay, watch out. Watch out. Alright, well, you can see the stump is out of the hole. The little tiny tractor exceeded my expectations. I figured I would be able to break up a lot of the roots around. It would help if that thing didn't have a 16-inch bucket on it. If it had a ripper shank or a trenching bucket, something a lot more narrow, I think you could rip through a lot of those roots a lot easier. But I really didn't think I would be able to pick it up out with the backhoe. Thought maybe the front end, but as you can see, it didn't. But I was able to get it drug out in reverse, which this stump's pretty good size. Yeah, it's almost shoulder height to me. It's still got a lot of the dirt on it. It did a pretty good job. I'm impressed. So the next step we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just push all of the dirt back in this hole. Let me show you the hole. So I'm going to go ahead, take every one of these mounds and start shoving it down in this hole. This hole's pretty good size, but those mounds, all of these. Now, something you want to be thinking about if you dig a hole like this with it doesn't matter, skid steer, excavator, backhoe, whatever. You dig a big hole, when you shove all this stuff in there, you really don't need to drive the equipment out onto it because it's going to be pretty soft for a while. That's a good spot for you to sink up in, especially if we was to get any sort of rain or anything like that. If you was driving out through and forgot about it, you'd sink. So I'm just going to shove all this stuff in from the edge and kind of mound it up. Obviously, we took a huge root ball out of it, so it's going to be a little bit of a divot for a while. Once everything settles, it'll probably be fluffed up and look kind of moundy, but once it gets a little moisture on it and settles, it's going to be have a dip in the ground, so we'll end up having to put some more dirt in this once everything settles. All right, so I'm just going to stick you guys up over here on the side. We'll get this dirt shoved in and we'll be about done. Okay, something I thought was kind of interesting whenever I got this root ball out of the hole, you can see that 2.5 foot down or so all along the edge, you can see all them roots poking out through the ground. But I was expecting a larger taproot going down, and this oak tree really didn't have anything on the bottom side of it. It just kind of spread straight out. Now that layer down below all the roots, that's a lot of clay down in here. Maybe that's why the roots didn't penetrate down deeper and just kind of grew across the top of the ground. that's gonna do it for this for right now. You can see there's still a pretty good mound. Hey, sweetie. Sweetie. There's a pretty good mound of dirt right here, probably 12 inches above, right in through here. All that stuff's gonna settle down, and it'll end up having a dip down in here. I'll end up having to come back through, scrape the high spots down into the low spots, and end up bringing some more dirt in here to level this thing off. I am still surprised with this being a 25 horsepower machine, just the things I'm able to do with it. I don't know of any really other 25 horsepower tractor that would be able to pull that stump up out of that hole. Most of the backhoes I feel should be able to dig and break through most of the roots. Like I said earlier, if this thing didn't have the 16-inch bucket on it, I think it would have dug through a lot easier if it was something narrower or a ripper shank. But overall, I'm very pleased with it. I do think if you had this machine and you were advertising a small business for removing stumps, you'd probably go broke because it takes a while. We started the day with the machine having right at 9 hours on it. Now it's got 12.7 on it. So digging out this machine, I put almost 4 hours, over 3.5 hours on the machine just digging this one stump out. You would probably go broke unless you were charging quite a bit of money for removing stumps. Had fun doing this. It was a learning experience. I'm still figuring out the controls on this. They seem a little backwards to what I'm used to, but well, everyone, hope you have a blessed day. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.